Beep boop boop.
Shay. Ooh. Oh
There
man.
we go. What a
Ooh.
mess. What a
Oh.
mess.
Oh jeez.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, some interesting moments
So
we're at. I feel like that last part. I
yeah.
don't know who you. You don't have to say it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I was controlling someone where I feel like I absolutely didn't explore everything I could have, and this last
Yeah.
scene just cut me out of that. And then away
Yeah.
we go, and it's like, oh, but I spent so long reading some of the stuff I was finding. I didn't
Mm,
feel like I had enough time to explore two areas that I knew I could go.
gotcha.
I went halfway through
Okay.
both, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
That's the hard part about the two-player co-op is because I felt the same thing happened to me, not in this last scene, but a couple scenes before that,
oh,
where I think you cut me off before I was able to do something.
ah.
So, but I mean, it's fine because
Yeah, it's part
it
of the
adds.
experience. I think I talked about it on my side too, right? It just gets
Yeah.
to, like, even I don't read like like when we trigger a trait or something, and you can on me, I can hit
Yeah.
C. You read stuff, I'm like, no, I just watch Hearts Let's Play when I when I want to
Yeah.
get into the granular parts of it, because I know that if I go and read that stuff, I'm pausing the game for you, and it's extremely disruptive. So
Right. Right.
you just kind of accept the fact that you're you're
Yeah.
just rolling with it and accepting
Yeah.
what happens, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And
yeah.
but I mean, I guess while you and I are together, I can kind of look at the collections and characters right now because, there's some secrets that we picked up and some
Oh, that's right.
pictures that
While
we've
we're in the pause
seen.
menu, that's right. That's right. I've never considered that,
So,
but I mean, um,
because I'm in the bearings right now that has the choices that you make do things, and there's like hotel
yeah.
guest is the first one. Mr. Dumet, I presume.
Oh, dude, see, you're seeing stuff I don't have, right?
Oh, you don't have any of this
Yeah.
stuff?
Uh,
Really?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
should.
I just have the ones I found.
Oh, well,
Yep.
okay. Well, I don't want to like spoil
That's why
anything
this is
then.
one of those. I feel like the oddness of playing like this is that
Yeah.
we never have the full picture. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Okay. Okay.
I've got what is this, 13, I guess? Yeah, 13 and 14. I got 10, 13, 14, 20. Right? So if
No.
you have anything
Oh,
before that,
are you in
yeah.
secrets or are you in bearings?
I'm in bearings.
Oh.
You know how like the
Okay.
numbers go sequential, like from the top left to the right, right? So like you're kind of going from bearings to secrets to not ready, and I think they're linked. It's like if you find certain things, other things
Interesting.
open. I'm not sure, but sequentially in the numbers, I've got, yeah, 10, 13, 14, 20, 31. So if you have anything that's not those numbers, it's because of you found things I
Mm-hmm.
haven't, and vice
Right.
versa.
Okay. Then I won't say
So
anything. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, did you saw? I mean, you were with me when we were in that cabin with the picture of quote unquote Dumet, and the photo. You seen the photo, or did I only see the photo? I don't want to.
Of Dumet and his
Yeah,
family.
it looks like a
I
wife and
saw
a
that.
daughter.
I did see it.
Okay,
Yes, I
okay.
did.
So yeah, little things like that is like we could have both missed that, and then we wouldn't know what the
Yeah.
heck was going on there, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just clicking through mine real quick as we talk, but feel free to do the same, so if people can like see the screen, they can at least
Right.
see what you got. But talking about the experience itself, I guess yeah, there was one thing I wanted to talk about. And I am forgetting. Forget. I'm like
Okay.
I was just gonna talk about it now because like within my scene, because I was like I'm probably gonna forget when I talk with Hark. But maybe if you start talking, it might remind me of
Yeah.
what I was saying.
Well,
Yeah, your thoughts.
do you want me to? Okay. So
Yeah.
let me start with everything before we actually get to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So everything leading up to that. So, uh, I like the characters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I one thing that I noticed that they do here more than the previous games, which was for me something that I sort of uh, it's a nitpicky
Yeah, yeah. You might.
critique
This might be
is
it.
that in the other games we typically are assigned very
Bingo. You
specific
just that was
things.
exactly what I was gonna
Okay,
say.
okay,
Nice.
yeah. I like that it seems like they're trying to let both of us
Yes.
distribute fairly evenly, like
Yeah.
being able to play each character, like rotating around. I like that way more. Um,
Okay. I would have countered. I would have.
oh, you don't like that?
Yeah, yeah. Mine was a
Okay.
criticism, and the reason for that is like I can see the intent of like getting you to share, but then I lose the continuity
Yes,
of the character.
I
You
I
know?
see that too. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Because you're right. Because I
I don't know how
think
you win that one. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because I want to sample each character just to get to know them, but at the same
Fun
time,
it out.
100%, I get that there is a lack of continuity because if I'm making certain dialogue choices
Yes.
with my vision of the character's
Yeah.
personality and you're making different choices,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. And the other thing is if we're split up,
Yeah.
if our characters are not in the same scene together, you don't necessarily know everything
Oh,
that I did
yeah.
with certain characters versus you. So I 100%
Yeah.
understand that as a criticism. And you're right. I don't know how to win both. I don't know how to have both
Yeah.
because it doesn't seem like you can.
That's true.
So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I
um,
think, and I forget which scene in particular. There were a couple, or maybe it was when we were around the table. It was doing the round robin around the table, and
yeah,
that might have been where it like really stood out to me,
yeah,
where because I was like, is because I knew it was happening in the other scenes, and I was like, well, that's kind of odd because I was just controlling this character, and now Hark is taking
yeah,
control. Um,
yeah,
but then it was just it became super intentional when we were round robining around the table. It's like, okay, now the game is
mm-hmm.
intentionally decided to give people a shot to like play other characters, but then it becomes more of the meta selection
Yeah,
of your moment in that scene as opposed to what you how you'd like the character to play out, because these choices do
yeah,
matter. They do matter. And so
yeah,
if I'm like, I think I want Aaron to be X, then
mm-hmm.
I don't want her to spin around in some other direction. It's like, well, who
Mm-hmm.
made the choice that actually sent
Right.
this character in, some
Yeah,
triggered some condition later on, some
yeah.
consequence. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, well,
Okay.
well. I guess the biggest reason I mentioned me favoring the swapping back and forth between characters is because it was the most noticeable in the last game with House of Ashes because you got to control
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was
Mm-hmm.
Nazim,
There
like
was.
the soldier. Yeah,
Yes.
see, I didn't even know he existed until like Act 3. I
Holy
didn't even
shit.
know
That's
I never actually met
that's
him
crazy.
and knew who he was until the third thing because you were playing him the whole time and I
Yes.
was whenever you played him I was with the soldier group, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
so
That's true.
so that's why I was like, I know nothing about you. And he ended up being, especially like after I replayed the game myself, he ended up being like one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, man, I kind of felt like I missed out during my first playthrough. But again, you can argue, well, that's the replayability like of the
Yeah.
game.
Well, yeah.
So
When
I
you decide
get
to
that.
co-op, you sign up for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, but again, just sticking with everything before we get to the hotel, I felt that in general, the story or pacing was very slow at the first half of this act versus the first act of the previous games.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just a lot of just jumping and crawling and looking around, which
Yes, that's
yeah, the
true.
other games do those things, but it just I don't know, it just felt really slow versus I just felt like we got into the action a little bit sooner or got into more interesting things
Mm-hmm.
sooner than
Mm-hmm.
just platform jumping around,
Mm-hmm.
for the first
Mm-hmm.
half of the act. So that was like my biggest like I was almost like half falling asleep like during the first half. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
I felt like they were. It's a lot more mechanics. I don't remember in the other games. I don't remember the
hmm
balance. I don't remember the crawling under things. Maybe a bit of the jimmying was going on, or the shimming, but it's like,
hmm
but not to this amount. And I feel like there's a lot
yeah.
more potential gameplay
hmm
things that you can do. Um, I feel like sometimes I would trip up on the mouse and keyboard stuff.
mm
Is I think there's a syncing issue, like for the hide, for example. Hiding
mm
is a thing, and it shows me an
yeah.
arrow. So the arrow, I press the down arrow, right? But then there's also a
mm
hold Q. I'm like, okay, but am I? But when I hold Q, my character pops standing. So I'm like, am I standing or crouching at this point? And then it
Oh,
starts to glitch, and I'm like, because I think it's trying to sync
gotcha.
us into the hide together. But my internet being what it is, I think there's a syncing issue. And so
Interesting.
then I let go of Q, thinking that the scene is over. I pop up, or like one of the second scenes where like our group was passing by the chain link fence.
Yeah, we
I was
failed.
just standing. Oh, we did fail, but see that was one of those scenarios where it's
I,
like I don't know if I
I,
didn't even get a shot to like hold Q. It just glitched out on me.
we,
So
yeah, I think we failed both times during the hide
that was on
because,
my side. That was definitely a mechanical thing. And so I would
okay,
have to
that's
say,
rough.
this is like 2 hours in where I just feel like every moment
Yeah,
where I have to depend
hide.
on time, the quick time events
Ugh.
are just going to fail because I
That's
just don't
tough.
think it's either. It's not syncing, or now I get the Q thing as a hold down, but like, and I'm vocal about it on the mic so that people can
Yeah,
see it. You know, like I hit
that's
the key,
rough.
I hold, but my character, or both of us were standing. It's not even just I was standing. We were both just standing. I was like, well, is the scene like, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
because
that was
I
messed up.
yeah, that is weird because on the first one, there was the first hide that where we both were standing, and I could see that I was crouching the whole time, like I
Yeah, that
was
was on my
legitimately
bad.
hiding.
The Bobcat was definitely me, because I was holding down the arrow key down because the that's what popped up
Oh,
on my screen, and I didn't see the Q hold Q until after I failed, and I was like, oh, he
okay.
held
I didn't
Q.
even. Oh, you're.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the bobcat. Like I
Oh,
I knew
because you were
something was
hiding.
in the room because I was hiding. I didn't see anything.
Okay, okay,
I was
okay.
like, what was in that room? Like
Yeah.
I have no
Oops.
idea. Like did Shay see it? I have no idea what was in that room. So thank you for solving that mystery. There was
Good.
the there was also the hiding part where Dumont
Oh, that's terrible.
was with Aaron and Charlie, and
Yep.
Charlie was able to like I think we failed, but
That was me
Charlie was
again. That was a key thing
okay.
again. Yep. Because I held the
That's tough.
key, but my guy didn't crouch. He didn't go into
That's
hiding. Yeah.
that's terrible.
So that's gonna
Yeah,
compromise us, right? Like
I
we kind
don't.
of have to, like, it's
Yeah,
early on, and like even as the watchers, right? Like I was kind of saying, like that's part of
yeah.
the entertainment value now is you're gonna see how this all breaks down
If we just
rapidly.
fail our hides,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's just the nature of playing,
Mm.
a couple hours after launch, right?
But
Like you kind of have to, yeah, roll with it.
yeah, but the problem I'm seeing right now, and I guess this is also the problem with the heartbeats,
Oof.
but with the heartbeats, I understand more. But like when we're, it feels seems like if even one of us fails the hide, then we
Mm.
both fail because we both are shown standing up. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I got a hit. It seemed like I
Mm.
got a
Oh.
relationship hit from
Right.
Charlie
All right.
when we both failed. He was like, "No, I'm hiding. Like if anyone's supposed to get a relationship hit, it should be Jamie." But
That's true.
so yeah, so that's the
Oh
only
no.
annoying thing. If we if one of us fails the heartbeat, that makes more sense because if you hear something, then you know uh, yes, if you hear something, you hear something. But if you
Yeah.
see one person hiding, but the other one is still hiding,
Yeah.
that we shouldn't both be like standing up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the only thing that annoys
Yeah.
me a little
There
bit.
could be an extra dynamic where, yeah, they'd have to put that variable in the scripting, but it would be valid. They do three different line works there, right? It's or four. Both are hiding. Both are
Yeah,
standing. One is high,
one
or
is
one of the
hiding,
other,
right?
the other is
One
hiding,
is
right?
correct,
And
exactly.
you honor that, and like
Yeah,
because then you could have like a decision there that says, do you play with it? Like do
yeah.
you just let the other person hide and then
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice yourself in the scene,
True.
right? There's
That's true. That's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see
Um,
what else falls on. Like, I think this is going to create a lot of just awkward scenarios. I'm kind of okay with it. I've accepted the fact. I mean, I can complain the
yeah,
whole
and
day, right?
I'm
But
accepting it
I
too.
accept the fact that you're going to play it for sure afterwards, and
Yeah,
I would like to play 1, 2, 4 in one sitting.
sure,
So after this one, I will do the whole replay as well on my end. So eventually,
sure.
but yeah. Anyway, so I'm okay with it. If you are, then
No, no, I'm okay. It is what it is, and we're just gonna have to suck it up and hope that even if we do fail, that there's another opportunity, like there's another way around it,
right,
like if
right.
it's another quick time. But anyway, other comments at
Thoughts?
all
Yeah.
before we actually go in the hotel, before we actually get in there,
Like,
or
yeah,
is there
act like
anything?
I mean, this is effectively Act 2, I suppose, at this point where things start to, they could go south very rapidly. I think, uh, yeah, I think you've already talked about the pacing going up
Okay.
there. I felt like it was an extended tutorial, that
Mm-hmm.
getting us to the light. Oh, that was the other thing, is that that the fact that I was playing Mark going up to the light
Mm.
tower, I felt like, oh, you might not have seen the scene on the bridge. I mean, I don't know if I want to
No,
kind of talk about
I have
it.
no idea what that is. Maybe
No,
save it.
I mean it's a subtle
Okay.
thing about. And here's the thing: if we're gonna switch characters, you're probably gonna, like, you could
Okay,
stumble.
that's fine.
You know
If
what
it's
I'm saying?
subtle, that's fine.
Yeah. So there's each one of them has a sort of weakness, right? We got the
Mhm.
smokes, we got the asthma inhaler. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, the Mark one is heights. He's afraid of heights.
Right. He doesn't like heights. Yeah.
So that came up with the bridge, but I mean, he went up to the light tower, and that was like, he made a comment. It was like,
Oh,
that is high, like he made a comment of like,
yeah.
so it's like, okay, that was a bit of foreshadowing, but you still went on that hike, and you didn't
Interesting.
indicate anything about your fear of heights,
Interesting.
But
Okay.
then the bridge thing was like, now you're frozen with terror, and you got to get, You gotta
Right.
get someone to help you across the bridge. So that
That's
was weird to
true.
me. Wait,
And
were
he
you playing the other
also,
character there, or were you?
I was Charlie. And you're right.
Oh,
There's
you were
that part
Charlie.
where, yeah, there's that part where Charlie and Mark are like
Okay.
balancing on the log. And I'm like, he's okay balancing on the log,
Okay.
but he's not
Yes.
okay on a bridge. Like
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
a little inconsistent.
That was a bit
But
broken. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, other than
Um,
that, I think that there's I feel like there are scenes too where, and I don't know how this is gonna play into the following scene, but I feel like, oh god, I'm forgetting all the names too. But uh, anyways,
Aaron,
not Aaron.
Kate is
Kate.
the person who's on the camera. Jamie is the lighting person.
Jamie. So Jamie was when I was controlling her, and then that scene
Mm-hmm.
got cut off. There were things that I couldn't pull open because they were locked, but they were in
Mm-hmm.
the scene locked. And I'm like, yeah, but we know
Yeah,
that the lead guy can pick locks. But it's like, is
yeah,
there a scenario where like any of us might run? It's like the same board, but like depending
sure.
on who we're playing, we might run into things that we can open and close. And so I
Mm,
don't know how the game is going to manage that because the other games didn't do it that way. But I feel like this
yeah,
one might be contained to the house, and so maybe it's going to reuse the sets. And depending on who we control,
maybe.
we can
No, that's
always go
true.
anywhere we want,
That is
and
interesting.
retrace
Huh.
steps. So we'll see what happens. But it's I feel like there's I don't want to say there's too much going on with this particular build of the game. There's a lot more dynamics with the
Yeah.
controls and the options, and we got the coin things we can find, the tokens that are
Yep.
eventually going
There's
to,
more mechanics.
there's a lot more stuff. So I kind of like the layering of it. But one comment I was making is that when it comes to moving, though, in a game like that, when you get disrupted by the movements, you're not really. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like in a horror game, you're not really putting your attention on the horror part of the experience because you're
Mm-hmm.
worried about, are the keys going to fail? Am I jumping right?
Yeah.
If you're crawling through a
That's
hole, I couldn't
right.
crawl through the hole. So I'm like, am I doing something wrong now with the mechanics?
Right.
Or is it because Hark's in the hole? Right? It's
Right.
like, so now I'm getting these mixed signals when I'm supposed to be
Right.
learning the rules of the game. I feel like
Good
co-op
point.
is maybe compromising me in that regard.
Good point.
It kind of
Yeah.
detached me, from the experience to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that doesn't happen in this next phase where things start to
Hopefully.
hit the fan. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
those are my thoughts. I think that's. I might have
Any
touched on anything. Anything else on your side?
well, I was gonna ask you, like, just is there any thoughts that you have with anything that happened once we were in the hotel? So like the
Um,
second half of the act.
yeah. Once we're in the hotel, no, I think, I mean, the creep factors there, the double sided window, a mirror, like that was,
Mm-hmm.
I did like one detail that they cut to the scene with the asthma scene between Jamie and
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, and then
Mm-hmm.
there was like a filth on the screen that we were looking out of onto the scene. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's a double sided window, mirror. But they didn't get to that until the end of the scene. It's like, okay, no, there's
Mm-hmm.
someone behind the other, and I'm like, that was a little cool little detail that if you're paying attention to the grime on our
Yeah.
side, on the viewer side, it would have hinted that some we're being watched. But the
Yeah.
scene played out as if it was all it was just a
Right.
camera angle shot or a
I,
change. So I thought that was cool.
and I also wanted to mention, because you said earlier that you were thinking this is probably all in one universe with the other three games.
Mm-hmm.
They made a couple mentions, I think twice. They made mentions about a mist, like twice,
Oh,
like
did I
during.
miss that? See, I might
Yeah,
have missed some
yeah. They,
details
they said
there.
there's some mist here, and I'm like, really, mist, you
Oh,
say? And then yeah, so I'm just
I
saying,
mean, are you saying that might have been like a double? It's like they were outside when that was said, and so it's like there is mist, but is that like a nod
there was.
to that?
I feel like somebody mentioned mist outside, but I think there was also mist, if I remember correctly, inside as well. And I don't
Oh,
know what that means, but I'm
I
just
might have missed
throwing
that
out
one
there.
too, but
You might have missed that one. Ah.
hey.
um,
Interesting.
the
I
other,
did.
go ahead.
There are a lot of boats in the hotel.
There are a lot of
And
boats.
they mentioned
Yeah.
the crashed boats, so there could be a
Yes.
set piece there. I did see. I think we both saw something. I don't like an exploding scene. Did you see a premonition or something
I
like
did.
that?
I did.
Okay, and then there's yeah, and so I'm like, there's just a lot of details tied to boats, and of course, where did this
Yeah.
all start? Man and Medan, right? Was the whole
Yeah.
boat with the mist
Yeah.
thing, and I'm like, I don't.
Hmm.
Is that maybe different shipments
Purposeful.
going on right into across
Hmm.
America? And I don't know. I don't know. So curious.
The the other cool thing I like about this is every character not only has their own weakness, but they also have their own, I guess you could call it strength or ability, because
Yes. Okay.
you know uh, Mark has the camera and can take like shots and stuff, which I'm sure it's going to be a thing. I don't know if
Yeah,
you did
yeah.
anything with Aaron, so I'm not going to spoil anything.
No, I
But
didn't. Not
my
enough.
favorite scene, hands down, in like right now, my favorite scene, hands down, so far, just in terms of how they did it and how it was executed, from any of the uh, four Dark Pictures games,
Mm-hmm.
was the last scene that I had with Aaron just now before the ending.
Oh,
And I don't want to. Yeah,
you were
I'm
in
gonna wait.
there. You were Aaron.
I I I was Aaron that last
What?
scene, and I'm again. I want you to experience it for yourself. So
What?
if you're gonna replay the game, and if you end up controlling Aaron in that scene, um, I I was very like I was into it. I was like, man, like they did a good
Oh,
job with this scene.
wow.
So just yeah, just giving you a little bit of a little bit of a tease. So
Interesting. So my exploration was absolutely tied to whatever manic scenario you were in with Aaron. We weren't all just like wandering around. It's like you actually got caught up in something.
were you Kate
I
the whole
was
who were you?
Jamie,
Oh, you were Jamie.
and I didn't
Ah,
see anyone else. I got to wander.
interesting.
I got to wander the hotel.
I did
I was in the lobby. I could have gone
yeah,
upstairs, but I didn't make it. I went into
interesting.
some side room and I was reading something, but I didn't see anything else in that room because I got cut off. And
Interesting.
I was like, oh god, there was so
Okay.
much to explore. I could have gone down the hall. Like I'm wondering how
I
much I could have
feel
seen if I just started sprinting through the
yeah.
place. You know?
I feel
Oh,
like the thing is, I thought I was taking my time because
oh,
I saw that you were see
finding
Shay
things.
found a
Okay,
Shay
okay,
found a secret or Shay found
okay, okay.
this, so I could tell that you were finding things. So
Oh man,
again, I took my time. I think just in general, um, but yeah, I even like
intriguing.
saw the part. I noticed the triggering the next scene part, and so and I tried to explore as much as I could. So again, there's just a point where, one of us is just going to inevitably cut the other person off, and we're just
Yeah,
going to
yeah, yeah.
try. I think both of us are trying to give the other person as much reasonable time, to do stuff before we trigger an obvious trigger.
Right.
So we're just going to continue doing the best that we can
Yeah,
there.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. It is what it is. So, but I mean, I was shocked because I thought you were also exploring a different part of the hotel, and it just happened that the scene was like, Aaron was like a kind of plot piece that was moving us to run through the hall and then break through the door. You know, oh, you didn't see
Yeah,
that part because you were Aaron. You were inside the whole time, or were you in the hallway?
I don't want to I don't want to spoil it. I like
That's hilarious. I
again
thought you
it's
were controlling people with me in the hallway and crap. That's
I was
amazing.
not with you at all. I was Aaron the
That's
whole time.
glorious. That's
So
glorious.
I will let you experience hopefully that scene. If worst case scenario, you could also just watch my side
Yeah,
of
of
things.
course, of course.
Um, but yeah. What which of the five characters would you say is your favorite? Do you have one that you're most
I
attached to? I'm just
think
curious.
Mark right now, and that might be because I
Yeah.
started with him, and now I
Hmm.
feel like he's the most grounded, and he has
Yeah,
yeah. I think he's like the second in command sort of thing, the lieutenant of the holding
sure.
the things together, you know. So I feel like yeah, I'm gonna stick with Mark right now.
Who's your least?
I would say the director guy. I forget his name now.
Charlie?
Charlie.
Okay.
Charlie
Yeah.
is a little bit of a loose cannon, and I controlled him long enough to like feel it. Like I
Yeah.
was trying to calm him down, but I was like, oh, this guy's a loose cannon for these smokes. So it's
Yeah.
problematic, potentially problematic.
I like Mark too a lot. I like his I think he's very like sweet, especially the whole time when he was afraid of the bridge. I thought I couldn't help but
Okay,
really
yeah,
get attached to him.
yeah.
But he's actually my third favorite.
Oh,
Um Interestingly enough, Charlie's actually my favorite.
okay.
Um and I think part of it is just because I've been role playing him to be less of a loose cannon
Me too,
when I
but
have control of him.
okay, okay.
I don't know. I feel
Have
like
I?
dinner
I'm actually curious now. Yeah.
I think the dinner scene could have been way more volatile.
Yes,
I
that's
feel like
true.
you and I both were
We were
playing
trying
the
to simmer it
characters.
down. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think I could tell that Kate could have easily like blown up, and
Yes.
Charlie definitely could have blown up. So I feel like we were as civil as we possibly could during that scene.
Yes.
Um, and so I don't know. I like Charlie a lot. I mean, maybe I'm just partial. I mean, I'm gonna admit it's probably just partial because I love the accent, number one,
Okay.
and I don't know. There's just something. he's trying to keep up with the younger
Yes,
kids, which I
the
think
crew.
I
Yeah.
don't think he's that old, but I don't know. I'm attached to him the most, and I guess my second favorite is actually Erin, just because I don't know. She's just really sweet, and
Yeah, she's a heart. She's a heart, right? Like they
she's the
said. So
heart. Yeah, and I was curious because I definitely was leaning into the Jamie Aaron romance a lot. So I was curious if you were going to reciprocate. It seemed like you were.
yeah, I
So
was. Yes,
it
I was.
was. I thought they're cute.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting dynamic between
And
those
it's
two
gonna.
characters.
It's the. Let's create some drama for later on when this
Yeah,
when this could hit the
right.
fan, right? That was great.
I was thinking he wasn't leading on the Eric and whatever her name was, like romance.
Okay, okay,
So
okay. Yeah.
maybe he'll do Jamie and
I
Aaron
don't
to switch
remember
things
if
up.
that was like. Was there a nod there? There might have been a nod. I don't know. I
Maybe.
don't know how. That's awesome.
Um, what are your thoughts on the mannequins? Because I mean, that's definitely creepy. Clearly, whoever is running the show is, making mannequins of these five characters, and I think it's the guy in the yellow, I guess, jacket, the
Yeah,
yellow
maybe.
coat.
Yeah.
So, like, what are your thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, it's like he's create. I mean, he's is it? I never watched Bates Motel, and but it's
Mm-hmm.
like it was Psycho, right? Where he has like
Mm-hmm.
the movie with the dead, right? That's the one with the dead mothers, or I forget. But like I feel like they're
Mm-hmm.
playing with that, but then
Mm-hmm.
adding the whole
Hmm.
animatronics thing, uh,
Yeah.
and it's like he's persisting the guests, like he's creating guests that can't, that
Mm.
just the routine stays the same for the
Mm.
guests.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other piece with the this because he's already got like I saw the second see I don't know who you played now so I'm trying to be careful but
Yeah.
it's like I've seen some scenes now where it's like oh yeah okay he's I just feel like there's some reenacting going on and there was a number when we
Mm.
entered the hotel there was a number on the side of the wall I felt like I mean it
Oh,
was
178.
178
I
okay.
I told myself that's probably gonna be important later because it lingered. The camera lingered in 0178, so I have that ingrained in my head now
Okay, that's
in
what
case
I
it's
believe.
important.
That's what I thought I remembered, but then I couldn't make sense of it based on what I saw while you were playing Aaron, because
Yeah.
it's not 178 anymore. But I was like, wait, how does that?
Oh, it's not.
Oh, I just
Oh,
got it. I just got it. I just got it.
oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I think that's like a guest count. I will put it that way. I think it's but let's just
Oh.
say it wasn't. It didn't equal five. It wasn't plus five.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, interesting.
So
Oh
it's
my.
there's an increment there. I might as well
Oh
just say because you'll
my.
probably wander, but it's like 180 now, and two people left. So
Oh
because the
my.
right the father and the daughter left, so now it's 180. So it's how many people leave
Have left
or never
or
come back or never.
never.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's what it is. You know, like there's a number there
Oh
that if
my.
we lose a character, maybe it goes to 181.
Oh
Um,
my. Okay. That's
so
cool. That's creepy.
don't
That's creepy.
know. Or I mean, maybe the other guys who fled, they actually still didn't make it. I mean, we saw that they made, or I did. I saw that they made it to the ferry, but
I saw it too, yeah.
okay, so maybe I'm not sure if like something happens on the ferry. We're gonna learn later on because why plus two, right? Because it's either like kill count, but if it's kill count and leave count, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the numbers don't really make sense to the goal. Like how many rooms are in this place, or where are
Mm-hmm.
the other bodies? Like there might be something here that is worth
Yeah.
paying attention to. You know. Yeah. So there you go. What do you think about yeah? Because I mean I saw an animatronic in play
Mm-hmm.
already. So
I did
in one of
too.
okay. So they would have been different because I was in the scene alone. So oh well, I
Mm.
mean you saw it with Aaron potentially because there was a mention of Holmes or something. Um,
I yeah, well, it wasn't explicitly an animatronic. I made a guess.
okay.
So I don't know if we're talking about the same thing.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Mine was with Charlie, and it was when he was trying to get his cigarettes. It was
Okay.
something.
I don't know what happened there. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll let you keep
Yeah.
that to yourself.
Yeah.
But
So they're there. I mean, we know I so like the trailer sort of hinted at some stuff because of
hmm
we knew it was coming, right? We knew the premise of this coming in.
yeah.
Picked up the crow at one point, and the crow turned its head, scared the crap out of
hmm
me. But it's like you can see little wires in there. It's like okay, now this guy's definitely fancying that whole thing. Like that's where we're going with this. But it sets us up for some pretty um, some twists and turns later on where we think
Yeah.
we're approaching a character, but it's likely already a mimic of the situation,
Mm.
and then we're going to be caught. We're going to be caught in a circumstance.
Yeah.
I've also seen some premonitions that do not fare well for Charlie.
No,
I've seen some
yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
geez. I didn't. Well, the thing with these premonitions is it doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I
It
took
doesn't
some
give you any
guesses. Yeah.
hint. Really? Okay.
I mean, because I took Saw into. I know the premise of this Saw concept and tropes.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
Buffy kind of did it. I think it was Buffy. It was what was, or maybe it was like American Horror Story. I don't remember. But there's like,
Yeah.
hey, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's generally like because you've watched the Saw movies, but it's
Yeah.
something happens, and now you
Yeah.
can choose A or B,
Yeah.
and it's not neither is a good choice. Like you're
Right.
gonna have to make a bad choice to get solution B. You're gonna have to
Right.
make A, which is bad to
It's
get
basically
B, but you're gonna have
right.
to sacrifice something
You have
to push through it. Yeah.
Right. It's basically choosing the worst of the two evils, and it's normally one is like horrible and probably permanent
Yeah,
damage
okay,
to
there it is.
yourself,
That's
but the other one is death.
it. There you go.
But the
That's
other
what
one
I
is
saw.
death. And
I
so
saw
I'm like,
something that tells me how to save Charlie, but my fear now is that you get control of Charlie in that scene. It's like that wouldn't be fair
and
because
I
like
have no context.
you have no
Yeah.
context,
I
and I'm
don't
not
know.
going to share it with you. So
Yeah,
because
you
now I
can't.
want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens with the mechanics.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
But so far, now that we finally got to the hotel, I'm definitely like invested in the story
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
intrigued.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took us a while to get there, and I do feel attached enough to these characters that I would be kind of upset if they left, if they died. So it sounds like you're rooting the most for Mark, and
I
I'm
would like
rooting the
Mark
most.
to make it to the end from a story perspective. I feel like he'd be I don't know, just the guy walking away with the story. Like it feels like he's the guy who
Yeah.
I want to do it. I would say from a heart perspective, Erin's probably the second because I feel like she's the
Yeah.
lamb, and there was a reference to the lamb, and there's
Mhm.
sacrificial lamb, but there's also the following the sheep. Like just having her escape would also
Yeah.
I'd feel good about it.
Yeah.
But man,
No, I agree.
don't know,
Even though Charlie is my favorite, like from a story perspective, I would like to see Mark and Aaron make it over Charlie.
Okay.
But I will still try to save Charlie, but we'll see.
Well, I wish I could. I was going to give you a double
Well,
entendre
sure.
hint there, but I'm not going to do it.
No, don't do that. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna accept it when you have Charlie and we're supposed to hide and you fail, and then I'm like, okay,
Oh, man.
it's not your fault. I'll at least say you at least have something to blame. You might be
Yeah.
able to blame.
I
It's
just
not
hope
me.
I hope you're not in the scene with me for that premonition where I would really like you to know the context,
Mm.
so that we can save Charlie.
Yeah.
Because part of me is feeling like theirs is going to be split characters, and a character is going to have to make a decision for Charlie's sake.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Oh,
I
interesting.
could guess the decision
Okay.
right now because I don't think I didn't see anything in the scene that gave Charlie the option to pull off what I believe he would have to pull off.
Interesting.
And my viewers would know because I've already talked about it, but it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how
So-
that plays out.
So far, the premonitions that I've seen, I think I have seen one with Charlie and one with Aaron. And the other ones, it was too dark for me to make out who it was
Yeah, that
involving
happens
necessarily.
Mhm.
But with the ones with Charlie and Aaron that I did see, it didn't give me enough context for me that I
Were
think
they-
would help me. in
Yeah,
the
were
situation.
they situations that were putting you at risk, or were they just scenes? So you've seen premonitions that put them at risk already, like other characters.
I've seen scenes where they actually, yes, were put at risk, but it seemed like they didn't have any choice in the matter or
Oh.
control, if that makes sense.
Okay.
There wasn't like a choice involved like in Saw. So that's all
Okay.
I'm gonna say, which is why I was
Yeah.
like, okay, how do I avoid this? It doesn't tell I don't know how I would avoid that.
Yeah, that's
So-
always been the trouble with with those premonitions in all of these games, right? You're like, I don't know what this is. Like, what am I supposed to decide here?
What am I supposed to do with this? Like,
Yeah.
is this supposed to help me, or is this just supposed to freak me out?
Yeah. I've seen one scene that was a freak out scene, but it was passive. It was one of those. It was Jamie, and she. I guess. Again, I don't know what you know, but it's like
Yeah, it's
she sees a scene where it confirms a different cut,
Mm.
In the show, because I think we both saw that, because I don't think we weren't in the
Mm-hmm.
scene, but the scene
Mm-hmm.
where the lead guy, the antagonist,
Yeah.
we hear like an old lady talking to him, right? And
Yep.
we
Yep.
both guess what that might have been, but
Yep.
I've already seen a scene where Jamie might have stumbled on that, but it's like, the
Interesting.
thing is, like, I don't even know how did I trigger that with what I found. Like, I don't see how things link up sometimes with those
Yeah.
secrets, right? And that also disrupts me, because I'm like, I'm finding something, I'm trying to associate it to something I've picked up or that I've seen it quote unquote secret to,
Yeah.
but I don't know how those two things connect. And I'm trying to bridge these ideas, but I'm like, are these just random? So I feel like that doesn't always help me. Kind of,
Yeah.
you, it's like, okay, but this character doesn't know this detail yet, but you've kind of got a flash of it, so the character should, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just some,
Mm-hmm.
so when Jamie gets to that moment, it's like, me as a player, I'm like, well, Jamie already knows like what's going on here, right? So I don't
Yeah.
know,
Well,
man. Yeah.
but I think the implication is based on how the other three games played out is that the premonitions,
Hmm.
the characters are actually not aware of them. It's it's only us
The
who are
players,
the
the
players
audience,
sees it. They
pseudo
don't,
curators.
because they
Yeah.
none of them react in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form,
To them, right?
like to these premonitions, or they make a reference like, "Oh wait, this sounds familiar." It's like, "Oh yeah, that thing that happened to poor Aaron. Like I actually saw that happen." Like none of them reference the
That's
premonitions
right.
at all.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I don't think that they in character know.
Yeah, it's like
So
there's like the curator. There's the the curator's aware of us as the controllers, the
right,
puppets of the stories,
correct,
and then he's kind of saying the story can go in these forks, and
yes,
then you control the people in the stories, which is they're as real
right,
as can be, but they are the story. There's a really yeah, there's a crazy meta
yeah,
architecture behind this that makes you think, it's like, did this all happen? Are they just stories? Because like all of our
yeah.
replays are all just as valid, because maybe the curators in this
Well,
infinite library in this supernatural domain, like, yeah.
well, now that you mention it, I am curious if Holmes uh actually is a real
Oh
person.
man.
Like is was Holmes actually the first serial killer in America? I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to look that up.
Yeah.
Because that would be cool if it was based on some historical,
That's my gut
or
feeling, is
or
that,
maybe
yeah.
or maybe like
Yes.
based on maybe their name wasn't actually Holmes, but it's based on the first. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel like, I used to run Ravenloft campaigns, and then in the setting for it was an Advanced Dungeons and Dragons setting back in the '90s, and then they
yeah.
created something called Mask of the Red Death, which was
Mm,
it was basically a gothic horror in the 1880s, 1890s, and so
mm,
my brain is like, I feel like I've heard the name Holmes, but then there's Sherlock
mm.
Holmes, and I'm like, was it just
Right.
Holmes? But part of me is like, no, I feel like I might have come across a character that was in that setting that
Yeah.
felt like it was a serial killer. It was a play on that serial killer motif. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I, I had in my head, I didn't say it out loud, but yes, Sherlock Holmes did come into my mind, especially because
Man.
I felt like Holmes looks like Watson,
Oh
with like
man,
the
yes,
mustache
you're
and the
true.
bowler
Yeah,
hat.
yeah, yeah,
So that was like,
yeah.
Holmes, you mean Watson? Like,
Ooh.
so he's definitely not Watson. Definitely not.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
That's
although
curious. I mean, if they could be playing with that, but I mean,
maybe, maybe.
interesting.
I'm wondering if there's a Watson character, because that would be kind of
Mm-hmm.
cool if they added, a little bit of an Easter egg.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also the last thing I'm going to say before I shut up and we can play it, the next chapter is I was actually expecting that we would be starting to spend those obols, those
Well,
coins.
that might be next, right? Because it's the curator. I think we turn those in at the curator the same way that the
Oh,
quarry might have done the cards.
right, but we just like saw the
Oh.
curator, so I thought we were.
Wait a minute.
So maybe it's not until later. Maybe it's at the end. He'll count up at the end, just before the
That's
final
true.
act.
Wait a
Maybe
minute.
just before the final act, he'll be like, "Hey, do you want to use your coins for this?" I don't know. I expected him to ask us
Yeah. Yeah,
every
me
single
too. Yeah.
break, but he didn't. So
That's right. That's right. This is something in the collections where you can pay to unlock things, but I'm pretty sure I clicked through all of these collections and characters and stuff, and um,
no, I feel like he asks you. I feel
yeah,
like
yeah, me
he'll
too.
ask
Yeah,
you, but
interesting. So maybe it's like when things start to hit the fan, then I think it's, yeah, maybe we'll get one of those. I guess like the quarry did it, where you pick, no, because the quarry was like, pick one, and then we'll show you some more information about it.
yeah,
But this is a new mechanic in this game, so I mean, I don't know. Could it be like, because of the whole idea of like paying the ferryman, right? on death is like, is there maybe something tied to that? You know, where we are in a situation where I don't think it'll reverse a death, but something tied to if we lose a character, then we can use one of the coins to see something or do something
Mm,
because it's like,
interesting.
it's paying the
That would be
ferryman.
cool.
That'd be an interesting one,
Yeah,
right?
that was a cool mechanic. So even if you lose a character, yeah, you still have a
You
chance
can pay to do something,
to
right?
help with the other characters.
Yes,
That would be
yes,
interesting.
yes,
Huh.
something like that. Yeah, like you can help from beyond the grave,
Yeah.
that type of thing. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah,
you
that's a
can.
good way to describe
Mm,
it. Huh. That would be
mm,
a cool mechanic. I like that.
we'll see. See how it goes.